Hey, what's up everyone? Cal B here. Right here you'll see me actually start to cut out my pattern. Easily printable on any paper. I suggest heavy cardstock, white preferably. I just happen to have this white paper here on hand. Every tier 4 patron actually gets access to this, so thank you very much if you are following us along to do that. Right here you'll actually see me cutting out the sleeve of his shirt. There's only one, you'll notice, and that's because you can just flip it. Right here I'm just cutting out the armholes, and then we move on to the beard. And here we have all our pieces cut up. I'm just kind of cleaning up shop here and get my pieces together. That angled piece is actually going to be the top of his hood, so don't worry about that space that's empty from that beard. Again, like I said, it's just saving space on the printing, and yeah, we'll get to tracing it out. You'll see here that I have my silver gray fabric felt. I like using felt because it gives a little bit when I need it to, and it's easy to work with, and likes hot glue a lot. Right here, I'm just tracing out my patterns, lining up any edges to help save some cutting, using that one arm piece to make both sides. And you'll see here in a minute that I actually leave a gap around each side, and you'll see why as I start to assemble the clothing itself. You may notice that there is no hole in the angled portion of his hood because I had a different pattern and I don't need it on there. Here I'm just showing you the silverish thread that I'm using. You can, I guess, use whatever color you want, but I try to match as much as possible. And I'm just using this because I've been sewing with a machine for a long time, since I was very young. But you can hand sew it if you need to. Right here, I'm just gonna fold these, lining up those edges, and then I'll put it on the sewing machine. You'll see me in a second. I will actually start it, and then I'll stop and reverse it to kind of lock in that seam so it doesn't rip when I turn this inside out here in a minute. And then I continue on, and I do the same for the other side, just to make sure it locks it in and doesn't rip out as I turn this inside out. And here I'm just cutting up, cleaning up any threads left over, and just trying to clean it up a little bit. Cut off those edges at the top that were left over. You'll see me cut off the tip right here, and reason for that is so when I turn this inside out it makes more of a point, and then I clean up just any excess along that edge right there. Next you'll actually see me take my pen, put it on the inside all the way up to that point, and then hold that point with the tip of my finger. Helps me guide it and flip that inside out. Well, a trick I've been using for a long time. I used to make costumes and whatnot, and making belts, doing it this way helps a lot. I see that it just points a little better. I fold it, make sure it's all good to go. Here's where I actually start to assemble all the pieces. Don't mind my gray Charlie Chaplin looking guy. I used him to make some of the other gnomes I'm going to feature in the coming months. And yeah, I might clean him up eventually, but for now I just use him to make the costumes. And yeah, they just right here I just put a couple dabs of hot glue on each side, and then do the same thing on the other side. And that just holds it in place long enough for me to do the next step. Right here I start gluing around the edges to attach it to the actual robe part. I do the same thing on the other side, super easy. And then here in a minute, you just, this is when I cut out the nose portion, so you can actually see it. And I just pop those right off from that glue spots that I left on. Right here, I'm just putting the pieces of the hat together. I just popped the cone portion on, dab a little glue in small sections, so it won't cool off before I get a chance to do the entire thing. And then I just glue it down slowly. And then when I bend it down, bend it in the back and hot glue it down, hold it for a few seconds, and then call it good. Alright, the Grey Wizard's beard. So I used that pattern from earlier. I just traced it on here. I actually found this faux fur at my local hobby store. And you should be able to find them too. I would look at remnants. It is a bit pricey. But you can buy these in like smaller sections. You should be able to find them online as well. And get them in gray. Or whatever color you want. But right here I'm just folding up the edges, making sure that I take any leftovers or anything like that out of the picture. You might have noticed I pointed out low temp on this glue gun. Hot glue is hot, so yeah, I use that low temp. I actually made an entire Iron Man suit out of EVA foam using that very glue gun, and I will say it's hot. It's sticky and it's hot, and my buddy and I that made War Machine, we always said for the suit, and then we would burn our fingers. Right here is where I use my Velcro. You can use any Velcro you want. I use a sticky kind so it stays in place before I sew it. It does gum up your sewing machine a little bit, so you gotta be careful with that. But I use that to just hold that in place while I attach this beard. You just slather it on and prepare to let it sit for a little bit. And then after you're done with that, you just give them a little trim, clean up any stray hairs or anything like that. And I suggest when you are trimming the bottom portion of his beard right here, is you cut a little shorter and then pull on it. It makes it look a little more natural. Right here, I'm actually going to attach the hat, but this was actually a mistake. I should have sewn those back pieces of Velcro on first. Not a big deal. I'm still able to get it, as you'll see later in the video. But yeah, it makes it a little easier when there's not something you need. But there you go. And to show everyone that it does in fact come off, I have my pink dude that I traded him out, and there you go. Here's where I actually sew the Velcro on. You might have noticed that that one side is angled. Not really sure why it works out like that, but it works out once it's all on. I also, you'll notice that I reversed it again, just to really lock it in place so it doesn't fall off. And I do the same thing with the other side. Right here, you just see me cleaning up those stray strings and whatnot, and then you'll see you got a nice seam right there. It's nice and strong, and it won't rip out. Yeah, that's it for this video. If you are a Tier 4 patron, thanks again, and happy crafting.